One of my friends sent me a text message regarding something someone said about me in regards to the EPA deleting all these things. And I want to address this in this video. Now, here's what I'll tell you guys. I've been pretty honest with you about this whole thing. I have never, ever, and please go back through my videos and watch, I have never said that you can one day delete your truck. I've always said that I would like to see the day where they would allow us to do what we want to do with our own equipment, but it's very likely that if you do it, you run the risk of any type of penalty or potentially getting your truck impounded. And the only reason why I've decided to even do videos like this on my channel is because I wanted to show the overwhelming majority of people and give them a voice, because when you look at the comment section, when you look at the likes on your video, it's literally like most people are against this. How are they able to pass these laws? How are they able to do this against the majority? That is why I've done these videos, because I've never understood why DEF became a thing. And I've always said this. I'm not against emissions control. I just don't like that word control. Control, huh? Emissions control. Do you guys remember the day when YouTube decided to take away the dislike count? There was a time on YouTube, for all you newbies out there, when you got on YouTube, if you watched the video and said, man, this is a terrible video, you could dislike it, and then you could see how many other people disliked the video. And then one day, just poof, overnight, the dislike count went away. Now, I remember I didn't know what wokeness was, so I looked it up, and then I got directed to YouTube, so I watched this video. This is a long time ago. And when I tell you that I was more confused about what woke meant after I watched that video, I tried to find the video, but it looks like they probably deleted it. I even went back through my history to see if I could find keywords from it, but again, when I tell you it was bad, it was pretty bad. But let's go ahead and jump back into the video. That video was so bad that I want to say at the time it had like 3,000 dislikes and maybe a couple hundred likes. So when you think about control, I want you to really think about it like this. See, YouTube controls narratives, just like MSNBC, even Fox News. I will admit they do too. But the reality is, why did they take away the dislike button? It's because if you want people to believe that a lot of people are supportive of something, you can't let them see the dislike button. That's basically what they did to our diesels. So yes, the reality is that emissions control took away our rights as diesel owners. That's what it did. Because here's how I look at things today. I have nothing against emissions equipment. I don't like that word control, so I'm just going to say emission equipment. I don't have anything against it. See, the reality is, oh, here we go, right there. Y'all see that orange Charger right there? That orange Charger is an EV. Do you guys remember what they did for those cars? In less than 50 days, it's going away. They gave those cars a tax credit. Oh yes, they gave them a tax credit. Why did they do that though? They gave them a tax credit because they knew in order to get people enticed to buy electric over ICE, you got to throw them a bone. And so when you were buying your Teslas, when you're buying your Hyundai, Ford and Chevy EVs, you got a $7,500 tax credit. Now granted, it wasn't $7,500, that was the maximum amount. And so those customers said, man, if I'm a business owner, or if I need extra write-offs on my taxes, this is a nice upgrade because, hey, you don't have to buy fuel. And at the time, free charging was the norm, not anymore. But yeah, they gave you a $7,500 tax credit maximum. So what did they do for the diesel owners? Did they give us free DEF for a year? Did they significantly reduce the cost of diesel for businesses? Did they do any exemptions for people for all the emissions control that was failing early on? Did they give us a tax credit, guys, is what I'm asking you. The answer is no. They didn't do anything for us. Why not? Simply because control, control, control. The whole goal, again, no matter how hard you try to show people this, the goal has always been to go EV. That has been the goal. They even said it out loud in California. No more internal combustion engine sales here by this year. So when I do these types of videos, I do them simply because I want to show you guys what the majority of people are saying. So if the majority of people basically said, we don't want emissions control, why do they still do it? That is the question that I will never ever be able to get answered. Now I want to show you guys a clip with Lee Zeldin. This was released a few days ago. And he asks a really good question. He says, where do we get our laws from? Most of you guys know or have heard of the Chevron deference. The EPA really did overstep their bounds. They were interpreting the law the way they saw fit. And I want you guys to really listen in on what he says, because again, I don't think this is really us against you. I made the mistake of trying to be, very divisive, and I want to try to change that because we don't get anywhere doing that. I think that we have to start having open minds. Again, as I said in this video, I'm not against any type of emissions control. I just don't like that word control.
What is this endangerment finding, and how will rolling it back affect American families?
2009, the Obama EPA got quite creative in analyzing the Clean Air Act, specifically Section 202. They said that carbon dioxide, when mixed with a bunch of other well-mixed gases, greenhouse gases, some not even emitted from mobile sources, that it contributes to global climate change, not causes, they say contributes. They don't say how much, north of zero. And then they say global climate change endangers public health and welfare. There are so many mental leaps in there. Where do we get our authority from as an agency? We get it from statute. But if you actually read the law, it doesn't say so much of what these mental leaps were that created it. So what's the significance of the endangerment finding? Well, then they end up creating what amounts to trillions of dollars of regulation to move this country towards forcing people and car manufacturers to be putting electric vehicles on the streets. President Trump isn't against an American purchasing an electric vehicle, but if they want to go out and get a gas-powered vehicle, they should be allowed to.
And the last thing I'll say is, if they never took away our voice, I don't think that this would be as big of a deal as it is today. Look at it from this perspective. Back in 2012, we knew that DEF was going to be mandatory. And then throughout the years, people were going out deleting their trucks. And then you start to see the Dieselgate and all this stuff. And then people start to say, wow, like, they're really blowing us out of proportion. Because if someone wanted to delete their truck, there was like this kind of a fear, like, hey, if you do it, you could get in trouble. Or better yet, some of the companies that went out of business or got cease and desist orders because they were deleting trucks. Like, they took it too far. And so then you created this anger that was never there had you just done it the right way, which was make it an option and give tax credits or give options to where people don't have to pay sales tax on trucks with emissions control. You know how many businesses would have jumped on board and just ordered all their trucks with emissions control? You know how many people would have done that? And then that way you wouldn't have had to shove it down our throats and make it about control. But because you did that, that's why this topic is so talked about. Because people are obviously seeing what's happening and they don't like the way it feels. And that's why what Lee Zeldin is doing is so important today.
Well, for a long time, you had businesses that were forced to live under this regulatory scheme that kept getting worse. It wasn't just like a regulation came out in 2009 after the endangerment finding, and then that was it. They kept on piling more and more and more regulations that followed.